Hello, this is Christopher Chesterman, History PhD student at Liberty University, and I am here to posit to you that the relevance of the West is in the significance of the effect it has had on the rest of the world. So to start with relevance and significance, we have to define what the West is, which is a little bit difficult. Birkin said that lost in the struggle is any sense of what exactly constitutes Western civilization. It is possible to agree with and even use Western principles to criticize its very source. So that's a little bit puzzling. So let's look at what some people define the West as. The easy way is geography. Greece started the very idea of civilization, modern civilization, then it was passed on to Rome. Then after Rome dissolved, Europe got it, and then Europe and North America together got it, and that's how we got the West. Others have said that the West was birthed in northwestern Europe after the fall of the Roman Empire. A great deal was going on, and the West as we know it started up in that section of Europe. Still, it's more appropriate, I think, to say that Western civilization is more of an idea. It's based on thought. It's been described as dynamically progressive, liberal, and democratic values in the most positive sense. This has been refuted in recent times, but all others have suggested that's more based on contracts, the way that kings and parliaments interacted with each other and the agreements they made and how to co-govern, basically, as well as the local contracts with feudalistic societies, with the fiefdoms and nobles and so forth. So what is the relevance on all this discussion? Well, the relevance is in how the phrase the West has been used. The usage has determined the research in where it came from. The West has primarily been used, according to Appiah, in No Such Thing as Western Civilization, to contrast two things, Europe and Asia. Democracy and communism via the Iron Curtain, or the North Atlantic, basically ignoring all of Latin America, South America, Africa, all the other parts of the world. It's also been used to describe the general culture of America and Europe, according to Royal and Who Put the West in Western Civilization. So it's a little bit different things, but that's generally the way it's used is the relevance of it. However, there's also been some opposition, and that Appiah, again, says that the Greeks were not really part of the West. They are not part of that location anymore. And what is now the West selectively adopted ideas that they liked and called it Western to claim inheritance. Even though much of the Greek culture that the West idolizes is actually preserved by Eastern thinkers, by Islamic commentators who eventually got their material to medieval Europe. Furthermore, Hobson in Eastern Origins of Western Civilization criticizes the very idea that Europe was the first dominant force. Asia had Western aptitudes long before the West was the West, and much of Western culture was diffused from the East. Printing press, coin money, gunpowder, all sorts of different things. But there's a key. There's significance. The significance of the West is in the magnitude and the intensity. The magnitude is in the philosophy of the West being the first to argue for the universal concept of the dignity of the human person, which was inspired by the Greek philosophers, which gave people something worth fighting for instead of just having to defend against something. The second part of magnitude is European colonization. Europe had a global power reach, the first group to do that. And they used that to create their own identity in the world. They understood who they were and their relationship to other groups in the world. No other civilization had that at the time. Then there's intensity. The East chose not to imperialize. So the global power reach of Europe and the force with which they did it was so intense that they forced their influence all throughout the world, more than any other civilization ever had up to that time, directly. And so sometimes the intensity can be gradual, but still poignant, such as the changes in government that happened in especially European parliaments, but also in some Asian countries as well. So where does that leave us? The West is relevant in connotation and the general universal understanding. People have an idea of what the West is. It's legitimate in the synthesis and application of its core attributes, the philosophies it has adopted. And these traditions of the West are only ours if we care about them. We only keep the West if we in the West still care about what it is. Thank you.